In response to the impending fiscal crisis, yesterday, Governor Eddie Calvo proposed a bill that would raise the BPT, or GRT, from 4% to 6%. Speaker BJ Cruz proposed raising it by only 1% and cutting GovGuam salaries. Meanwhile, the Guam Chamber of Commerce says any increase to the BPT or GRT will increase the cost of goods and services on Guam. In light of the looming $67 million revenue shortfall due to the Trump tax cuts, Governor Eddie Calvo called senators into a special session to deliberate on and hopefully pass Bill 12S, which would raise the business privilege tax, formerly known as a gross receipts tax, by 2%. The measure would increase the tax from 4% to 6%. The legislature opted to hold a public hearing first before discussing the bill, so they adjourned yesterday and scheduled 3 hearings on the measure, all to be heard on February 21st. Speaker BJ Cruz then offered a bill of his own. The Speaker's Bill 244 would roll back all salary increases under the Competitive Wage Act of 2014 for both classified and unclassified employees. These salary increases are often referred to as the hay raises. It would also reduce the budgets of the Office of the Governor, the Legislature, and the Office of Finance and Budget, and raise the business privilege tax by 1%, beginning on April 1st of 2018 until January of 2020. Although they have not had a chance to review either bill yet, Guam Chamber of Commerce board member Bobby Shringy says that generally speaking, the chamber remains opposed to raising the BPT.
The chamber's position has been, will continue to be, basically in opposition of any GRT increase, for the mere fact that we believe that whenever you start talking about raising the business privilege taxes or the BPTs, you're basically now getting to a realm where it's going to be impacting the everyday cost of goods, the everyday cost of services.
Shringy says the chamber's primary concern is how raising these taxes would negatively affect the economy by raising the cost of goods and services, which in turn discourages consumer spending. Instead, he says the chamber has come out in support of changing things like the GRT to a sales tax and taxing online sales. Shringy says the real problem that needs to be addressed is what he calls the leaky buckets at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, or GovGuam's ability to collect all the taxes it is owed.
Whether you increase GRT by 2% or 1% or 10%, the reality is until those leaky buckets are addressed, we're going to be back to square one in a couple of years. If the government truly wants to look at these tax increments, there has to be some balance here. But it has to start first with saying, how are we going to fix the DRT problems? How are we going to get them the resources? How are we going to get them the manpower? How are we going to address the real problem there so that 2 years from now or 5 years from now, we're not going to be singing the same tune?
And to see a copy of both the governor's and the speaker's proposals, log on to thepacificnewscenter.com.